Okay, we've got the recording going, so we will have the recording and the transcript that CFIC will post on their website by the end of the day tomorrow, which is the 22nd of April. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to our presenters from the government side. Just be aware, if you did pose questions, they may choose to answer some, none, or all of what was posed. There were many duplicate questions that I believe came through, so hopefully within the recording, the transcript, or hearing it here, you will be able to get your answers. I'm going to go ahead and mute myself and let them begin.
All right, good afternoon. My name is Julius Williams. I work in the Arctic Lab in the G9 for Army Cyber Command, and I am the lead for this effort for the government side. I have with me as my SMEs, we have Lucas Zellum and Sean Murphy. They both work in the G9 section, and they are going to be assessors of this capability. So first of all, let me say I want to be clear about what we're looking for. This is an assessment for an existing or mature commercial solution, and this is not a development contract. We're not asking the builders to build anything or integrate separate parts or components into a new system or scope a research estimate. If you have a solution that can demonstrate the capabilities described in RFP, we want to hear from you. If a proposal requires significant development to meet the requirements, this may not be the opportunity for you. With that said, we gathered the questions and pretty much came up with a few topics. So we're going to talk operational context, modular mission payloads, sensor integration, AI and machine learning integration, security compliance and DevSecOps, the acquisitions pathway, and we're going to follow up with the assessment itself. So this is going to be a quick overview. Like again, I said, we are not trying to get anybody to develop anything. We want to see what's in the environment, what's accessible to us right now. So we're going to start off with the operational context. All right, this effort is focused on the operational edge. So you should assume there's a denied, disrupted, or a limited environment and conditions. All activities, model hosting, data handling, image generation, and deployment should be on the edge. All right, with that said, this platform, the sensor, will be co-located for purpose of the demonstration. All right, on the modular mission payload. For this effort, MMPs are hardware agnostic software that are loaded into the SDR class platform to sense, affect targets at the edge in the electromagnetic spectrum. All right. Existing frameworks like WorkLO and CFE are in use today. That's what we're using right now. That's what we're currently working towards. So it will be beneficial if your solution fit that ecosystem. As far as sensor integration, we are intentionally not prescribing sensor models because we want to see what you have. Just to give you a little bit of backstory, somebody from my leadership found a capability out there. He saw something he liked, and we're trying to see if that was a real capability or how mature it is. Hold on one sec, I'm sorry. Hey, stand by 1 second. I'm sorry, security and compliance and DevSecOps. Phase 1 will be operating at the unclassified level. There is no existing EMAS package or impact level for vendors to align with, and we're going to want you to just bring the solution that you have. ATO posture, including weather and initial ATO or CATO appropriate solution dependent, and will be disclosed with selected vendors. Vendors should plan to bring their own DevSecOps pipeline to comply with ARCYBER standards and imminent containerized infrastructure as code as stated in the RFP. On the AI/ML side, this is an AI/ML capability and essential to the entire point of delivery. That is the focus point. Your solution should identify how to affect the target, generate the effect, and package it for use on SDR, end to end. All right, vendors will supply their own models hosted locally. We are agnostic on the algorithmic approach and rules-based, classical, machine learning, deep learning, or any combination is acceptable. You may demonstrate efficiency using your own data, but expect the solution will be tested and augmented with government data during evaluation. The acquisition pathway. The following pathway described in Phase 4 of the RFP and may include OTAs, IDIQs, or production contracts, depending on the outcomes. IP rights will be negotiated under applicable agreement with government purpose rights as a baseline expectation, but specific and negotiable. We are not disclosing a phase one funding target at this time. Vendors should propose what the solution requires to demonstrate the capability. So we're asking you to demonstrate the capability and tell us what it's going to cost to get that capability. This is a competitive assessment, and we are deliberately leaving some aspects open to the law of vendors differentiate based on the strengths of their existing solutions. If a question received today comes down to what specifically do you want, the answer will be propose what you have, and we'll evaluate it on its merit. Finally, the most authoritative source for this assessment is the RFP itself. If anything I said today appears to be conflict with RFP, the RFP governance, any clarification from the session will be captured and shared with the participants to ensure a level playing field. Do we have any other questions do we have any other input from Luke or from Sean? That's pretty much all I have. Like I said, we could try to consolidate all the questions and the requirements into groups to get after everything. We received over 60 questions, and this was the most efficient way to get after it without giving away too much information or going too in depth. So basically what we're saying is we know what we want. We have a general idea we want. It's pretty much open to the individuals or the sections to decide how they're going to get to that solution. And man, that's pretty much all we have. This is pretty quick, but it's pretty straightforward.
Great. And I know we had some people that came in late. So if you could just go back through that first point that you made, I think that was one of the most critical about, looking for something. I don't want to take your words, but if you want to go back through that, I've just let some more people in.
Roger that. The first point I made was I wanted to be clear about what we're looking for. This is an assessment event for existing or mature commercial solutions. This is not for development. It's not a development contract. We're not asking you, the vendors, to build anything from scratch or to integrate any of your parts or components into a new system or to scope a research effort. If you have a solution today that can demonstrate the capabilities described or outlined in RFP, we want to hear about it. If your proposal requires significant new development to meet the requirements, this is probably not the opportunity that you're seeking. That said, phase one deliverables is a functional prototype, meaning a working demonstration of your existing solution applied to our case use. Anything else, Amanda?
Great. Thank you for that. I know we do have Major Herring, also from the government side, who I have made an additional presenter. If he had any information that he wanted to share from his side, he is more than welcome to unmute and do so. Otherwise,
Hey, thanks, Amanda. Nope, nothing for me. Thank you.
okay, just making sure. I wanted to make sure we covered all of our bases and had one of our Arctic representatives on here as well. So as far as questions go, all of the questions that were submitted, again, they may or may not have been answered on this call. I believe that the information that the team, Julius in particular, gave out is everything that they feel needs to be covered for people to submit their white paper for this RFP. Again, I know when this RFP originally came out, there were some questions on a date that was a typographic error. The date to submit white papers, the deadline for that is 11:59 p.m., so 1 minute before midnight on the 27th of April. So that is coming up next week. The submissions must be turned in through Vulcan. So if you do not have a Vulcan account, you need to get one as soon as possible. Those do take sometimes up to 48 hours for an account to get completely created for you to be able to submit your white paper. On the CFIC website and on Vulcan, there is a white paper instruction and template document. So if you're looking for it on the CFIC website, that website is cyberfic.org. You'll hover over events and you'll see the name of this RFP event, AIFX at the edge, in the drop-down menu. You can go to that website page to download that template, to read the event release and to see some additional information. It will also have a link back to the Vulcan page, which is where you will go to submit your white papers. I'm sure a lot of you, I recognize names in the room, so I'm sure a lot of you know some of this, but we do want to make sure all of our other businesses may not have all of this information, so we want to give everyone their fair shot for our fair and open competition that we do for assessment events of this nature. If there is any additional information, which from what I'm hearing from Julius, there will not be, but just in case, hedging our bets, if there is any additional information, that will be posted on the cyberfic.org website, or a post made on Cyberfusion Innovation Center LinkedIn page, or posted on the Vulcan page for this effort. Again, the deadline is the 27th of April at 1 minute prior to midnight, and thereafter we will continue with our process and go into the grading and evaluation. We will not be accepting any additional questions. Yes, sir.
Man, I just wanted to provide a little more clarity on. We had a little sidebar over here, and
Sure.
I just want to provide a little more clarity on what a modular mission payload is, because that is pretty much the crux of the effort, is to get after that built by AI capability. So when I'm saying modular mission payload, I'm talking about an effector or a detector that is generated by AI capability and pushed through the RF spectrum. The crux of this is we want that MMP to be developed on board the capability and to be able to port it on and off the capability. When I say port it on and off, I mean I want to be able to move that MMP up higher to what am I trying to say? To a strategic level storage location which could potentially be a Amazon AWS S3 bucket, or to be ported off to dumb sensors per se. We're trying to move it across the battlefield, laterally and vertically. And we're trying to target in our spectrum for we're trying to target in our spectrum for effectors and detectors. Excuse me, I'm trying to gather my thoughts. For effectors and detectors, and that's pretty much it. I just want to make sure we provide a little more clarity when we're asking the capability to be able to do. Do I have anything else from Sean, or go ahead, Sean?
Hey, Julius, I think the only thing you might have missed is, like, for the MMPs, we would like them to adhere to two of the government frameworks that we have outlined, and that's warped alley, which is the ability to reprogram a FPGA or field programmable gate array, or CFE, which is the collaborative framework environment. Those are two government programs that we would like these MMPs to adhere to if possible. Understand that they may not be able to.
Yeah, and then just for complete clarity, the destination is not necessarily the point of this prototype. It's that nothing that is created as an effector through this system is locked or stuck in the device where it's created. It's able to be ported out in some sort of meaningful way that it could be shared or otherwise distributed. But that portion is not part of this prototype, just the ability to get it out. It can't be locked inside.
Thank you for that. That's pretty much all I got on my side. If Sean or Luke does have anything else, I think we're done, Amanda.
Okay, Luke and Sean, anything else from you guys before we close out?
So one question I think we did not address, I just saw, is that one of the questions was, this a DCO only focused use case? No, this would be primarily for SEMA.
No, thank you, man. I'm good.
Okay. Thank you, everyone from our stakeholder team and our assessors. I do see some more people hopping in and out of the meeting. Again, for everyone who is still tuning in, we have this meeting being recorded. We will have the recording and the transcript will be posted on the CFIC website, cyberfic.org. You'll go to events and find this event, AI Effects at the Edge, so you can listen to the recording and check out the transcript. And again, we will only accept white paper submissions through the Vulcan platform. Thank Thank you everyone for attending. I'm going to go ahead and stop our recording.